It's down at the bottom.
On my phone, it was that way, but it's not on this.
I don't know then. We're live.
Okay.
WBISLP 1069,
How
Winterville,
did I get
Aden,
there?
Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina. Thank you so much for setting your radio dial to 106.9 FM, Awesome Radio. If you are searching the web or surfing the web, you can certainly find us at wbisawesomeradio.org. We are visible on all social media platforms that we're on, and we say hello to our Rocky Mount listeners at 100.3 FM. Today, we have a special show bringing you information about a fundraising fashion show supporting Gardeners for Hope. Gardeners for Hope is an organization that supports local breast cancer patients, and you will hear more about that today in the program. Right now, let me introduce to you, our listening audience, the panelists for today's show. Deborah Godley, she is a survivor and model of the fashion show. Robin Willis Brown, executive at Gardeners for Hope. Colette Farrell, the owner of Edge Fashions for or by Colette, and Maxine White. She is a survivor and executive director of Our Growers Incorporated. Before we get into the meat and potatoes as to why we are here today presenting to you, let me tell you just a little bit about Gardeners for Hope. Gardeners for Hope emerged from the seeds of friendship and compassion, sprouting from the shared love of gardening and the memory of a dear friend. Founded in 2002 by co-workers of Joan Botch at East Carolina University, GFH was born out of the desire to honor Balch's legacy after she succumbed to breast cancer. Joan Botch, a vibrant member of a gardening club and a passionate gardener, left behind a message of hope etched into a stepping stone at the entrance of her garden shed. And it reads, "Hope never dies in a true gardener's heart." Her friends, grieving her loss, transformed their sorrow into action, channeling their collective love for gardening into a fundraising support of breast cancer patients. Now, let's hear from our panel. First up is Maxine White, who is a survivor herself, incredible story, and the executive director of Our Growers Incorporated. Maxine.
Thank you, Akila. I'm getting some kind of feedback, but let me just say that
I don't know what happened.
March 31st, I will have
I don't
been
either.
a breast cancer survivor for 44 years. I developed it in my 20s, late 20s. It was diagnosed in my late 20s, and I'm still here, and I'm passionate. I am extremely passionate about helping out. So from that, I think we need to hear from Miss Robin. Excuse me, Miss Robinique, because she is heading this. She is in charge of Gardeners for Hope.
Okay, Ms. Robinique.
Hi everyone. Glad today. Just share a bit about what we um so people support breast patient active support patients in any barrier care. So transportation, food and financial assistance and household expenses such as water, um, different essential needs Our goal, free women with from the burden of having to worry about those things as they uh, supported women from all different counties, and we help women with different things. And so, one of the recent experiences that we have supported a young lady with her rent, up to $1,000, as she went through breast cancer treatment and is experiencing some financial difficulty. And so here we try to support women through that. It looks different for everybody. And so we try to meet the ladies where they are. I'm supporting them with what we can. And our goal is just to free them from that burden of having to worry about whether they have to eat or decide between treatment. And a lot of people get into that tight space where financially things become a hardship for them. And so, as Garners for Hope, we try to just encourage women and support them financially through what we can do to support them.
Outstanding, outstanding. Now, let's go back to Maxine.
Well, listeners, we need your help. This is not a game. Breast cancer is not anything to play around with. And what we would like for you all to do is to purchase tickets for the fashion show that we're going to have May 4th. And the listeners can't see it, but if you call 252-521-9423, I will give you all the information and I will tell you where you can go to get the tickets. And at the end of the show, the viewers will be able to see the QR code that's on the screen now so that they can purchase tickets. But what I'd like to do is introduce Miss Colette of Fashions. She is, oh my gosh, I don't know, I can't say enough about her. But if you ever want something made, call Miss Colette, because she can look at you and look at what you're desiring, and she can make it. So Miss Colette, will you step forward, please? Can't hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Colette Farrow from Edge Fashions by Colette. Um, I'm very thankful for this opportunity because breast cancer has a special place in my heart. I lost my mom to breast cancer in 2006, and I've been I was a radiation oncology nurse for about 12 years. Through that time, treated lots of patients, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity because it gave me opportunity to connect with people and to hopefully make their journey with breast cancer a pleasant one. Um, some people are awesome survivors. I'm very grateful for every survivor, but even in losing my mom, it never stopped me for having the compassion for um, our patients. I'm still a nurse. I retired from radiation oncology, but I am still a nurse. I do part-time nursing now, but it's important to me still. It will always have a place in my heart because of um, losing one of my best friends, which was my mom. Um, but I wanted to do this show to support Gardeners for Hope because I was a part of the staff that was able to help patients over at ECU when I worked there, to be able to, if they needed transportation back and forth, or they needed a bill paid or prosthesis, those things are important. And when you don't have the funds that you need, this is an organization that supplies those needs for patients. And so I've been fortunate in that sense. So those of you that can come out and support Gardeners for Hope, and hopefully you'll see something that you like. I'm looking forward to designing some beautiful things. There's a segment in the show called Precious Pink, and every last one of those models in that segment are breast cancer survivors. And so I want you to come out and help support Gardeners for Hope. It will make these ladies' day, I do believe.
And Miss Deborah and Miss Jennifer, we would like for you to talk about what we as women go through
Um,
from the first diagnosis until whenever.
you want to start? You want me to?
Fear.
Fear. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to hear that you have cancer. I was lucky. I still say that somebody put me in the right place at the right time. Procrastinated and put off a few visits and scheduled it. Just happened to be sitting on the computer at work one day and thought, okay, I'm just going to schedule. I had my mammogram one day. I had a biopsy 2 days later. Not that I was having any symptoms. It was, I mean, I was convinced that they were just doing it to be on the safe side. So it's fear. You got to have a strong group of people, and it does, and you hopefully family, but there are a lot of women out there that will help you and tell you. And matter of fact, Jennifer, my friend Jennifer, who is also a survivor, is one of the first people that I talked to because I knew what she had gone through or knew part of what she had gone through. Now your turn.
Oh, well, I sort of like Deborah. I had just turned 50 in August, and I could feel a lump and said, well, I probably need to go have that checked out. And I literally walked into Leah Jenkins, and they took me right back when I told them what was going on. The Dr. Wong came in and said, we're going to do a mammogram today. And it went very quickly from there. Within 2 weeks, I was in chemo. The next week, they put the port in, and 2 weeks after my original diagnosis, I was having chemo done. It was just very frightening and unsure, and not sure how to, who do you tell, who do you not tell. If I'd had it my way, I wouldn't have told a single soul, which of course was not the right attitude, but you don't want to worry people. You don't want people worrying. My parents are older. I certainly didn't want them having to worry about this, but obviously they had to be told. My children had to be told. And that was what was really the hardest part for me, was having to tell people what was going on.
And I'm not a private person. I'm not Colette. I was lucky. I love Colette. She was my radiation oncology nurse. She's the person you want to be in the room when you need that extra little talk. She's the one that's there. And I was fortunate with I had good support. I didn't want to, I still to this day have never discussed it with my mother. Yeah, I still to this day have never discussed it with my mother. Some relationships you just don't want the 101 questions. If you understand where I'm coming from with that. But Jennifer was one of the first people, and I called my best friend, and I don't even think I told my husband until the next day. So it's a strange feeling, but ours is two different ends of the spectrum. Mine was lumpectomy, and radiation. Jennifer's was, a lot worse. She had to do the chemo and all that. So
Lots of chemo.
yeah, a lot of chemo. But there's people out there that will help you. That will support you. And I mean, I'm currently trying to help a young lady now who just recently was diagnosed, and we're on Jennifer's end of the the spectrum than mine, but the support is there and foundation. But if I can stress anything, you don't always feel it. I don't like how they've backed off the mammograms. Yes, they have gotten better, believe it or not, but they're still uncomfortable. But don't wait. Go in, have your mammogram. They now don't want to do them until you're 40. My friend that I'm talking about, she is 39.
That'd be cool, 50.
Oh, now
That's why I
now
have
she's
one.
saying 50.
I,
Yeah, but just
I am happy to say I've been cancer free since 2000. Well, I was diagnosed in 2014, so I've not had any reoccurrence.
yeah, mine was 2018, and I have not had any reoccurrence. So, but just don't wait. Do your mammograms. It's
Yep.
not comfortable. If you have a history, I had no history on either side
I
for
had no
any of my
history
family
either.
members. None. Neither did she. And the young lady that is now going through the chemo and stuff, she had no history. My daughter now has history on both sides of the family. So she is lucky enough to go ahead and start the preventative mammogram, yearly mammogram, but unfortunately they don't offer it to everybody anymore. So be vigilant. If you suspect anything, go in, have it checked. Don't wait. They will check if you let them know you're having a problem.
And call your nurses, call your friends, but for the love of everything, don't Google it.
Yeah, don't Google it.
Biggest mistake I made was, oh, I'll just look that up. Yeah, that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Stay off of cancer chats and rely on the people that are around you.
Yeah, when I went in for my to get my results from the biopsy, I had Googled it, and it said that 70% of those cases are usually negative. So I was convinced. I told the girls at work, I said, look, if everything's okay, I'll call back and get the lunch thing and I'll come back to school. I've worked at a school. I said, I'll come back to school. With them, the phone call I made to them was, I won't be coming back to the school today. And that was, they already knew.
Thank you so much for that incredible testimony, ladies. This question is for Robinique, the executive at Gardner's Hope. Robinique, does your foundation help only women, or are men supported and children supported as well?
Primarily, we're supporting women. If there are concerns or any needs for assistance, we accept all. We do have a request, and we'll reach out as far as what we can and cannot do as to provide that assistance. So please don't hesitate to reach out, and we can support you or review your request and connect you with other resources if necessary.
Okay. Now, I will ask you to repeat your beginning statement because there was some feedback and everyone isn't muted who's not speaking. Can you repeat that, please?
Um, so your question to me was, do we support all breast cancer type?
The question was, is it just women that you support, or are men and children supported as well for having cancer?
So, yes, to answer your question, any breast cancer diagnosis, we're accepting all requests for assistance. So, I would suggest just reaching out and submitting that request for assistance. Like I shared, we do have a team of people that will review that request. And a lot of the times, there are no requests that we typically deny, but we do try to keep individuals connected to other resources as well, because we do have a lot of different partnerships. We want people to be well aware of what else is out there as well.
Okay. So then your main focus then is on breast cancer.
Yes, ma'am. Female, male, children. I know we've had patients as young as 30 years old assisted. So we're pretty much just focused around that breast cancer diagnosis.
Okay. And one other question for you right now, Robinique, is Gardeners for Hope. Are you supporting just local patients or surrounding counties as well?
Yes, so we are supporting surrounding counties as well. So not just Pitt County, but we support patients on the Eastern North Carolina vicinity. So one any of the 27 counties.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I had to step away momentarily, unfortunately, but Robinette, you just mentioned that you have a 30-year-old, and I don't think I stated my age when mine first started developing, and I was 27 years old. And I was in the military and about to be transferred to Seoul Career on attaché duty. And in doing so, back then in the military, when a woman was transferred overseas, they did a transfer physical. And it was during that physical that the doctors thought that I was expecting a child. And it was just no way that that was happening, because my husband had been in Guam for 13 months and we hadn't seen each other. So I knew that that was not the case. So back then, a female in the Navy could only have one child and remain on active duty. So although I didn't have to resign my commission, I did have to get out of the Navy. And I resumed employment with my former employer, who was AT&T. And in March of 1980, I was at work. I became ill. They took me downstairs to the medical staff, and they then called the rescue squad, well, the ambulance. And they took me to see Dr. West. He said that I needed to have my gallbladder removed, so we scheduled that. Wednesday, before I was scheduled to be admitted to the hospital, he did the pre-admission exam. Friday evening, while taking a shower, I mean, I don't know what made me do it, but I just started washing and feeling an area on left side, right in the area where your bra strap connects to the cup. Back then they had the little ring and those were the connections. And so I discovered the lump. I ran across the street to my best friend's, got her to feel it, got my husband to feel it. And then I called the doctor. And when he examined me on Sunday, which was my admission date, he didn't think it was anything serious because he had just examined me that Wednesday and there were no indications, none. But to be on the safe side, I signed a release for him to do the biopsy and asked him not to awaken me if it turned out to be cancer, to just go ahead and do what needed to be done. And of course, when I awoke, I felt like I had on a girdle that was probably 20 sizes too small. That's how tight I was bound. And I just knew. And he and my aunt, who was his nurse, were standing at my bedside crying because when they did that surgery, I was 29 years old. But I want women who are listening to remember what I said. When I was 27, that's when it begun to develop, while I was still on active duty. Now that sounds sad, but the glorious thing about it is God did not let it get to a critical state during those almost 3 years. And although I can't recall the type of breast cancer it was, but I do recall Dr. West and Dr. Maddox and my aunt telling me that it was one of the most deadliest breast cancers that a woman could have. And no one understood how I had survived those almost 3 years, otherwise appearing to be healthy. So, to you women who are listening, and to you men, do not forget to perform that breast self examination because it is critical. It is critical. And when you have changes in your body, don't take anything for granted. Don't assume that you know what's going on, because I come from generations of nurses, and not one of them, because of my age, even thought that I would have had breast cancer. So please take it seriously. I want you to remember that there are those of us out here who want to help you. Gardeners for Hope helps you in the financial realm. We will help you if you need emotional support. But I beg you, please don't wait. If you suspect, it is better to go and get examined by a doctor. Do not wait around, because during the time that I had breast cancer, and during that era, there were women who absolutely refused to have a mastectomy. Many of them refused the treatment. And their reasons for doing so was because they suspected that the man in their lives would perceive them as less than a woman. If they had to have a mastectomy, if they had to go through chemo, they would lose their hair, because it was rugged back then. I mean, it was really rugged, the things that we went through. Now, I was blessed. I had a phenomenal doctor, um, doctors, I should say. And because my mom and my aunt were known by the staffs, I mean, they just did a phenomenal job with me. And then God has given me something that's referred to as stubbornness. And I just refuse to give into the things that women go through when they get that diagnosis. Because we are worthy of ourselves. And no one or nothing is worth your life. I know you hear it from other people, but I am telling you, take care of yourselves. If you suspect it, go get it checked out. Please don't worry about what other people might think, or your significant other. That's not your major issue. Your major issue is, if you don't do something, you're going to die. And if you have children or grandchildren or parents, do not do that to them, because they will live the rest of their lives wondering what they did wrong to make you feel like you couldn't come to them and say, I think I have breast cancer, or I have been diagnosed with breast cancer and I'm scared and I don't know what to do. Please don't do that. Don't do it to them, and don't do it to yourself because there's help. There is help out there. I did not need financial assistance because I've been pretty blessed with a really great career, and my husband he was still in the Navy. But I do understand, I am sympathetic to women who have to choose or feel as though they have to choose between going to the doctor, going through the treatment, having to have the mastectomy, and possibly losing where they live, what they own, being unable to feed their children. I understand that, but we're here to help. That's why we're doing this fashion show, to raise money so that we can give it to Gardeners for Hope so that they can help you. There are organizations that will help you. This is one that's key. I give wholeheartedly to the Cancer Society. I do. But not one of the aspects or the sections of the American Cancer Society gives anyone any money to help sustain them. And that's been the missing piece. And that's what we're trying to do now with this fashion show, is to raise money to give to Gardeners for Hope, so that when you come to them, they can help you. It is easy. It is easy for me to do this. It is easy for me to do this. And I feel myself getting emotional, and I don't mean to become unprofessional, but it's a passion because I don't want another woman to die. I don't want another woman to die. I don't want anything to happen to my gender. I don't want anything to even happen to men, because men do develop breast cancer. And we just have to be vigilant, and we have to be mindful. And at this point, I am letting you know, please buy these tickets, attend this event, bring a friend. We're going to have fabulous music. I mean, Ruff and Keys is just phenomenal. We're going to have an art auction. We're going to be giving away small prizes. Well, not prizes, but gifts. The food will be fabulous, and the company will be great. So if you're listening, or if you're watching, scan the QR code. If you're listening, call 252-521-9423. That's my business line. And the name of my nonprofit is Our Growers. And Our Growers is about supporting small local farmers. And now we're about supporting women with breast cancer and other types of cancer, because it's just critical that we do something. This country that we live in, as rich as it is, we should not have the magnitude of people dying from cancer. I can't do anything about that. I'm many things, but a scientist I'm not. But what we can do, and what I will always support, is any program or any organization that removes any type of barrier from a woman when she receives that diagnosis, when she's going through her treatment, or when she even suspects that that may be a problem. Don't let it be a problem. Please don't.
And Maxine, could I add just one last thing?
You can add anything, honey.
Well, I think the amazing thing about Gardeners for Hope is that everyone on our staff is oncology certified. So we've all worked in the field of oncology. I myself, as an oncology social worker, can relate to a lot of those experiences and things that you ladies have shared today as survivors of breast cancer. I hear these things every day from women, from men, from young ladies about the fears that they have, the financial barriers that they may come against, or the loss of hair, supporting women with wigs, different things of that nature. So everyone on our staff is and has been in the field of oncology before. So we all have a special place for what we do, and the people that we provide assistance to. And so, with that being said, I think that just makes it more um, near and dear to our hearts and gives us a great deep sense of passion about supporting individuals with breast cancer. And I think that's essential to garners for hope within itself, is that everyone on our staff is and has been in the field of oncology.
Great. I have a question for Maxine. Are we, or for anyone actually that can answer this question that's involved with this fundraising event, are we asking people to donate or are we asking them to purchase tickets?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Oh,
Both.
Of
Both.
the day of the event, are we selling tickets or it's donations only?
The day of the event, we won't be doing any of that. We won't be doing either one. Um, of
tickets,
course,
all tickets
unless
have to be purchased on Eventbrite.
yeah,
That frees everyone else up to make sure that when you're at the event, you're having a good time. So we don't have to have someone running around trying to make sure that we actually have seats available. We're trying to get those tickets sold ahead of time so we can really concentrate on making sure that this event is a one of the best things that you've attended. Um, it's important that we try to fill every seat.
Mhm.
We want to support these survivors. I would love to see people's faces there. The artist is Robert Ross. He currently lives in New York, but he's a North Carolinian, and he's designed a special piece for auction for this event. I am so excited. He's actually going to bring some additional pieces to this event. There's a segment in the show called the Ross Collection, and those pieces are made from pieces that he's designed. So the fabric is actually his art. They're going to be wearing his art.
Okay. What's involved with the VIP seating? Why should I purchase a ticket or donate to be in the VIP seating? Convince me.
Colette, that was yours, so I'll let you handle that.
Okay. VIP seating, those are you're going to have front row seats. They're in a section where everyone, they'll be up close and personal. Um, there's sponsor seating. If you want to sponsor, you can sponsor for there is $200 sponsors. There's $350 and $500 sponsorships. They get special seating. They have special food. It's going to be a good event. Everyone is going to get they'll get a bag, and it'll have some special things in it. The VIP section is it's going to be a good place to be, upfront, personal, so you can really get a good idea. And then we're going to have some special gifts in those VIP bags.
Outstanding. So the number to call 252-521-9423 to learn more information, and better yet, scan the QR code. So even after this program is over, if you are watching on our Facebook page on GPAT, Awesome Radio, or even our YouTube channel, you can still scan that QR code and get all of the information and learn more about Gardeners for Hope and this awesome fashion show that will take place on May 4th. So if you're watching right now, go ahead on and scan that QR code, get that information. If you would like to donate, talk to Maxine, 252 521 9423. Now, Robinique, executive at Gardeners for Hope, are you at liberty to give us some type of scenario examples of the help that you have helped with cancer patients or breast cancer patients?
Yeah, of course. So I can tell you about a time where I personally worked with a young lady. Um, was about 37 years old. Was having a lot of lymphedema after her breast cancer treatment, and was unable to afford her garments that she needed to reduce swelling. We did help get her coordinated with a lymphedema specialist, but we also supported her in assisting her with purchasing those garments for her. Now, a lot of the times, people can buy those over the counter, but majority of the time, those garments have to be custom made and custom fitted. And so those garments usually are done through a physical therapy, where they're actually getting that treatment as form of that exercise for the lymphedema to get those the blood flow moving back and those cells back in motion. But they also do require that garment to keep that blood flow and the swelling down. And so when you're getting custom garments like that, those can vary from up to $500 to over $1,000, and depending on what you need. And so we did support that young lady with purchasing those garments, just to alleviate that barrier for her, because medically she needed those things, but also she could not financially afford them due to having young children, maintaining her household, and things of that nature. There have been times where women have lost their hair and could not afford to purchase their own wigs. So we do provide funding and assistance with that as well. And as a lot of people know, us women are very particular about our hair and what that may look like, and how we choose to express ourselves is a great part of our hair. And so, um, just being able to have funds to support women like that, and everybody's cancer journey looks different. And so whatever that need is that applies to you, we try to review those requests and support patients where they are. And we try to do our best with just keeping them connected with different things as well, keeping them connected with organizations and opportunities that can benefit them throughout, and not just a one-time quick fix, but something that's sustainable and something that you can look and utilize not just one time but numerous times.
Thank you so much. With 5 minutes left in today's program, you are listening to a special informational show, and it's sponsored by Edge Fashions by Colette, and she presents a fashioning fashion show, a fundraising fashion show, and it's supporting Gardeners for Hope. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and what Gardeners for Hope does is that they support area breast cancer patients. There will be a fashion show, fundraising fashion show, Saturday, May 4th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Journey Event Center, 1375 Greenville Boulevard, Southwest in the city of Greenville. So that's Saturday, May 4th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Journey Event Center, 1375 Greenville Boulevard, Southwest Greenville. So if you don't know where that is, navigation, scan this QR code that you see right now, or you can call Maxine if you're listening and you're not able to scan the QR code. Call Maxine White, 252-521-9423. 252-521-9423. So we have again about 4.5 minutes left in the show. And so I would like to ask Deborah and her friend Jennifer to tell me why this event, why Gardeners for Hope is just so important to you, and why are you volunteering for this event?
Well, in my case, or I guess both of our cases, we are strong supporters of early diagnosis. Also, during the process, people's financial abilities are so different. We were fortunate, but you still have bills. But we were a little older and more established by that point, and I don't know that it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it the support is not just financial. To make the connections with women who've been through this, and there are great support groups. They can put you in touch with the right people. They can put you in touch with the resources you need. Um, Anything to add?
No, I agree with everything. I think it's just very important to know that there is support out there and getting the word out. In my case, and part of it was chemo brain, I'm sure, but I didn't know anyone that had been through cancer, and I'm sure that my doctors and nurses, who were all wonderful, I'm sure they told me things I could do and places I could go, but I guess when you're in the middle of chemo, having the ability to reach out to somebody is not very easy, or it wasn't in my case. It was very difficult, mostly because of lack of energy and things like that. So I think getting the word out and letting people know, hey, there are organizations out there that if this does happen, you have the ability to have someone come in and give you some
Maxine,
resources.
anything you would like to add to why, again, this is so important to you, to be an advocate of breast cancer?
Well, it's important because I love all of my sisters. Black, white, brown, green, yellow, pink, it doesn't matter. If you are a female, you are my sister. And I do not want you to let your life go because you didn't think that there was anyone out there that could help you, that there was anyone out there that understood, and that there was anyone out there that would love you even if you had to have a mastectomy, or even if you had to have chemotherapy or radiation for that matter, um, and that would change you for a little while. We love you. We're here for you. We want to do what we need to do. And Gardeners for Hope, God bless you for doing what you do.
We have about 90 seconds left in today's program. Is there anyone out there that would like to say something that you didn't say or would like to reiterate anything? If not, then join Edge Fashions by Colette. And she presents a fundraising fashion show supporting Gardeners for Hope. It is a 501c3 organization. And this event is happening Saturday, May 4th. 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Journey Event Center, 1375 Greenville Boulevard, Southwest in Greenville. Gardeners for Hope raises money to support area breast cancer patients, where they don't give you the money in your hand, but they do support you by supplies that you may need, like paying your light bill, your rent, your mortgage. They help you in those ways so that those things can be taken off of your mind and you can concentrate on your health. That's Edge Fashions by Colette, a fundraising fashion show supporting Gardeners for Hope. And if you are watching us, or if you want to watch later on after this segment is done, you can scan the QR code, get all the information you need to to receive, and also call this number for Maxine, 252-521-9423. That's 252-521-9423. We thank you, ladies, for being a part of this and for telling your stories, your testimony, and for being so courageous with your stories. This is Akila Thigpen McCardell. I am with Awesome Radio. Thank you so much for joining us on today. And we say we'll see you the next time. God bless you.
Blessings to you.
Y'all have awesome.